What is up, everybody? So before I get into this video, I wanted to ask you guys to leave comments about the different kinds of things you want to see me discuss on this channel throughout the offseason. I have a general plan in my head of what I'm planning on talking about. Lots of draft content as we prepare for the draft, who the Packers should pick, lots of different draft prospects, of course, free agency, tons of different things like that as we move into the offseason, as I've talked about the past couple seasons. But if you have specific things you'd like me to talk about, certain video ideas, things like that, feel free to comment them at the bottom of this video, and I'll take a look and sort of see what many different people are wanting and try to incorporate that into my content sometime throughout this entire offseason. But now I want to get into the topic of today's video, second video of today, and that is basically just I want to break down all of the Packers players who are going to be free agents this offseason. The Packers will have to decide whether they want to give these guys new contracts or if they would rather not pay up and have them end up signing with some other team most likely. So let me throw up right here a list of all of these free agents, and this is from overthecap.com. They have tons of great information on free agency, salary cap, things of that sort. And as you can see right here, most of these players are unrestricted free agents. Some of them have their contracts being voided, which basically means they will become free agents. And then we have 3 players at the top who are restricted free agents, which means these are NFL players with 3 seasons that are able to negotiate with any team, but the original team, in this case the Packers, have the ability to offer a tender, which is a first-round tender, second-round tender, or right of first refusal, which basically means if the Packers, let's say, put a second-round tender on Chris Barnes, if a team really wanted to sign him, they would have to give the Packers a second-round tender or a second-round draft pick. So who knows if that'll happen, or if not, maybe not. And then we also have Jake Hansen, exclusive rights free agent, and that is a player who I think has less than 3 seasons, who, if offered a contract, they can't negotiate with other teams. So there's only one of those in Jake Hansen, center, and I'm not sure the Packers will bring him back. Who knows? We'll see. He started off this year, but then was replaced pretty quickly as he wasn't playing at the highest level. And then, as I said, Josh Nijman, left tackle, restricted free agent. He played a ton at right tackle this year. We have Tyler Davis, tight end, restricted free agent. We have Chris Barnes, restricted free agent. And then we have Dallin Leavitt, who the Packers brought in this past year, who is a big special teams contributor. I honestly would assume they bring him back just because of his impact on the special teams, and with Rich Bisaccia here in his first season. I do think the special teams took a big step forward, and I would assume that some of the key players who were brought in to play special teams will probably stay here. That's my assumption. We have Rudy Ford, who is another big special teams guy who started getting a lot more snaps at safety. He is an undrafted free agent. And the safety position is an interesting position to watch this offseason for the Packers, because if you look down farther, Adrian Amos, who has been here starting for basically 4 years, is also going to be a free agent, who's going to be about 30 years old. And they'll have to decide if they want to pay him, give him another big contract, or if they would rather go a cheaper route with a Rudy Ford or both of them, or draft a safety. Who knows? There's lots of possibilities there. Then we have Eric Wilson, who's a big special teams guy, linebacker, unrestricted free agent. We have Allen Lazard, who is a unrestricted free agent. That's a big one to watch too, because if you look at the Packers receiver situation, both Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb are going to be free agents. Will the Packers want to bring them back? We have so many talented young receivers in Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Samori Toure. The Packers could bring Lazard back, could not. The decision they have to decide if they're willing to pay him. And I'm guessing there's some teams that could want to play Lazard as well. And so he'll have to make that decision where he wants to play. Then we have Corey Ballantyne, cornerback, unrestricted free agent. Justin Hollins, edge rusher, unrestricted free agent. Then we have cornerback Keyshawn Nixon, who I think the Packers really should definitely bring back coming into next year. We saw just how explosive he can be. His crazy 105-yard kick return touchdown, almost had another one a week prior. But I think just the ability to break it free at any moment, the Packers need a guy like that. He really changed, some aspects of this Packers team, just his ability to explode at any moment. And so I really hope the Packers decide to bring him back because he greatly impacted this team. We have Mason Crosby, who is now 38, 39 years old. I'm wondering if he's going to retire, to be completely honest, because we saw his legs doesn't seem to be as strong as it used to be, unless he had some kind of injury. It seems like he can still play well, but I wonder if the Packers will move on, or if Crosby will want to move on, because he's getting up there in age. Will he want to come back again? Hope to make that decision along with the Packers. Mercedes Lewis, who is such a big part of the Packers run game, also a free agent. He's also 39 years old, so another veteran presence who has been impactful here in Green Bay. Randall Cobb I already discussed. I think that sort of also hinges on Aaron Rodgers, because Rodgers, to have guys like Bakhtiari, Randall Cobb, guys he trusts, guys he's so close with, he says it really, changes things when you're there in the building with those guys that you've been with forever. I think it would be more likely that Cobb returns if Rodgers also returns, which we'll wait and see what happens there. We have Jarran Reed, who was signed from the Chiefs this offseason, played a good amount of snaps for the Packers. Somewhat productive, probably a bigger piece on the defensive line. But the Packers do have some young players coming up, TJ Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, who can make a big impacts there. So maybe they want to let him go. Who knows? Adrian Amos already discussed. Dean Lowry, who was sent to the IR to end the year. And as I just mentioned, we have some young talent on the D-line. So I wonder if the Packers bring back either maybe one of Jarran Reed, Dean Lowry. I'm not sure they'll bring them both back with the young talent we have on the interior there. And then we have Robert Tonyan, who returned this past year from that ACL tear he suffered, a year and a half, 2 years, something like that ago, and we'll have to make a decision there as well. So lots of different decisions, lots of free agents. This team will look a lot different next year because many of these guys will not be returning. So sad reality of the NFL at times, but that is all I wanted to share, all the free agents for the Packers this season. That's all I have for this video. I'll see you guys next time.